Hi, I am Benji. Welcome to my podcast. This is a special episode about reading. In this episode, I will talk about why reading is important and how you can enjoy it. Reading is a big part of our life. Every day, we read many things. We read signs on the street. We read menus in a restaurant. We read messages on our phones. We even read labels on a bottle. We read a map or instructions when we travel. Reading is all around us. Reading is like a key that can open many doors in our mind. When you read, it can open the door to new ideas, new places, and new stories. Even if you stay in one place, reading can make you travel in your imagination. Reading is like a journey you can take every day. I know learning to read in English can be hard, but do not worry. I am here to help you. I will share my own story about reading and give you some tips on how to start reading. You will hear how reading can help you and why I think reading is great. I will keep things simple. You will not need any hard words or hard ideas. We will have a light and fun talk about reading. Maybe you like reading, or maybe you do not read much yet. It does not matter. This episode is for you. We will go step by step. First, I will talk about why reading is important. Then I will talk about the many benefits of reading. After that, we will see how to start reading and what you can read. I will tell you my reading story, about my life and how reading changed it. We will also talk about how reading helps your English if you are learning English. Then I will give some ideas on how to build a reading habit. And at the end, I will share some final words. Throughout this show, I will talk as if you are here with me. I will ask some questions and give examples from my own life. It will feel like a friend is talking to you. I am excited to share with you. I hope you will find some ideas and fun stories to help you start reading more. Let's begin our journey into reading together. Thank you for joining me. Why reading is important. Why is reading important? Reading is more than just a skill. It is something we use in our daily life. We read to learn new things. We read to know what is happening in the world. We read to make our life better and easier. When we want to know about something new, like history or a hobby, we read books or articles. For example, if you want to learn about animals, you can read a story about a lion or a bird. If you want to know how to cook, you can read a recipe. In all these cases, reading teaches us something. We read signs on the street to know where to go. We read price labels on food or clothes in a store. We read a menu in a restaurant to choose our food. We read instructions to know how to use a new phone or a computer. All these are reading tasks. If we could not read, we might not know how to find a place or how much something costs. When we want to know the news or new facts, we often read. We read newspapers or websites to know what is happening in the world. We read messages or emails to know what our friends are saying. Reading shows us ideas and stories from others. It is like a window to what is happening far away. When we read a story, our brain makes pictures in our mind. A story can take us to a different time or place. For example, if you read a fairy tale, you can imagine castles and dragons. If you read about space, you can feel like you are flying in a rocket. Reading can be fun and take us to new worlds without leaving our room. It is like a movie playing in your head. We read letters or messages from our family and friends. We read a book and then we can talk about it with others. When we discuss a story with a friend, we feel happy and close to each other. Reading the same story as someone else can help us share feelings and ideas. At school, we read textbooks to learn math, science, or history. In work, we read reports, emails, or instructions. The more you read, the better you understand these things. For example, if you read about how a machine works, you will do your job better. Reading helps you learn whatever you need for school or your job. Even our phones and computers need reading. When you send a text message or check a website, you are reading. When you play a game, you might read instructions or dialogue. Reading skills help you use all kinds of devices and programs. Think about this. The signs on the road, warning signs, or instructions on a medicine box, they all need reading. If you cannot read, you might miss important information. For example, a sign might say, "Stop," or "Danger, high voltage." Reading those words keeps you safe in many places. In summary, reading is important because it helps us learn, work, and have fun. Reading is part of everything we do. Benefits of reading. Reading has many benefits for you and your mind. Some of the benefits are you learn new words. Every book or article has new words. When you read them, you learn what they mean. This makes your English better. You can speak and write with more words. You learn new things. Reading helps you get new ideas and information. For example, if you read a book about travel, you can learn about a new country. If you read about history, you learn about the past. Reading keeps your brain active and growing. You can relax and feel happy. Reading can be a fun break from your day. A good story or a nice book can make you feel calm. It can also make you smile or laugh. After a busy day, reading can help you rest your mind. A story or a book can make you wonder about people and places. When you read, you use your imagination. You may think about how characters feel or what will happen next. This kind of thinking is good for your brain. If you read more, you can understand texts faster. You learn how ideas are explained in English. This can help you understand your homework or work tasks better. Good reading skills can make school and work easier. When you read many books, you see how writers make sentences and tell stories. You notice new words or phrases. You can use some of these words or phrases when you talk or write. This can make your English sound better and more natural. When you read, you try to remember details, like what happened in a story. This can make your memory stronger. Also, reading quietly helps you pay attention to one thing at a time. Over time, you might find it easier to concentrate on what you read or learn in class. When you read a story, you remember characters and events. This practice can make it easier to remember details in your daily life, like homework or a shopping list. A good story can be a break from a busy day. When you read a calm or fun story, you may forget your worries for a while. This can help you feel relaxed and happy. You can feel proud of yourself when you finish a book or an article. You achieve something. You will feel good about learning new things. Over time, you might finish many books. You can even talk about them with others or give them as gifts. These benefits show that reading helps you in many ways. It helps your mind and your mood, and it can also help your life. How to start reading. If you are new to reading or want to read more, here are some steps you can follow. Choose something interesting. Think about what topics you like. If you enjoy sports, find a sports story. If you like animals, find a story about animals. If you like cooking, find a recipe or a cooking story. When you choose something you care about, you will find reading fun. Start with easy and short texts. You do not need to start with a big or hard book. Try a short story, a fairy tale, or a comic book. Books with pictures are great for beginners because the pictures help you understand the words. Even a short article on a favorite website or a children's book can be a good start. Set a small goal each day. Do not try to read a whole book at once. It is better to read a little every day. For example, you can decide to read one page before bed or read one short story each weekend. This way, reading will not feel too hard and you can build confidence. Find a good time and place. Choose a quiet, comfortable place to read, like your bedroom or a park. Find a time when you are relaxed, for example, after dinner or early in the morning. Try to read every day at this time if you can. Having a routine will help you read more often. Use tools to help. Keep a dictionary or a translator app nearby. If you find a word you do not know, you can look it up, but try to guess the meaning from the story first. Also, look at the pictures or context clues to help you. You could also listen to an audio recording of the text at the same time. Audiobooks or read-alouds are great. Read out loud or listen. Reading out loud can help you practice speaking and understand the text better. If you're shy, you can read quietly to yourself, but imagine you're telling the story. Or listen to someone else read, a friend, teacher, or a recording, and follow along in your book. Ask for help and share. Ask your friends or family to help you pick books or read with you. You can also find an English club or reading group. Talking about what you read with someone can make it more fun and help you remember. Reward yourself. When you reach a goal, give yourself a small treat or break. For example, after finishing a book, you might watch a favorite show or eat your favorite snack. Celebrating achievements makes reading feel even more fun. Be patient and enjoy it. It may be slow at first, but it will get easier. Every reader starts somewhere. Give yourself time and praise yourself for your progress. Remember, the most important thing is to enjoy reading. If you have fun with it, you will want to do it again. What to read? Books, articles, etc. When you decide to read more, it is good to know what kinds of reading material are out there. You can read many different things. Here are some suggestions. Storybooks and fairy tales. These are books with stories and often pictures. They can be about adventures, animals, or heroes. Fairy tales like Cinderella or Jack and the Beanstalk have simple language. They help you practice reading full sentences in a fun way. Comics and graphic novels. Comics have pictures for each part of the story and short dialogue. Graphic novels are longer comics. They are very visual and often use simple phrases or speech bubbles. This makes it easier to understand the story even if some words are new. Easy readers and children's books. There are books written just for beginners. These books use simple words and short sentences. They might be stories about school, family, or simple adventures. Libraries and bookstores often have sections for children's books. Magazines and newspapers for learners. You can find magazines or newspapers written in easy English. For example, there are news websites for children or learners. These have pictures and simple news stories. Reading short news articles can help you learn about the world and practice reading facts. Websites and blogs. On the internet, many websites have short articles or stories. You can choose topics you like, such as cooking, sports, or travel. For example, if you like cooking, look for a cooking blog with easy recipes in English. Recipes, instructions, and manuals. Everyday items can be reading practice too. Read a recipe to cook a meal. Read the instructions for a new game or toy. Read the labels on food packages. This counts as reading practice and is useful in real life. School books and textbooks. If you are in school, your English or other class books are reading material. You can practice by reading your textbook or workbook. Even reading your math or science book in English can help, as long as you try to understand it. Email, messages, and letters. Read the messages or emails you get. If someone sends you a message in English, read it carefully. If you write emails to friends or family, review what you wrote. Reading and writing messages every day is good practice. Subtitles. When you watch a TV show or a video in English, turn on the subtitles and read them. This helps you link spoken words to written words. If this is hard, try it with short videos or cartoons first. Try different things and see what you like best. The important part is to enjoy what you read. If you start with something fun, you will want to keep reading more. I want to tell you a story from my own life. It is about how I started reading and how it became important for me. I think my story might be similar to yours. I hope you will enjoy it and maybe find some ideas to start your own story. When I was a child, I did not always like reading. I had many toys and I liked to play outside. Sometimes I saw my friends with a book and thought it looked boring. I preferred games or watching cartoons. One day, my mother gave me a small picture book. It had bright colors and simple words. She told me, "Try to read this, please." I was not sure at first, but I opened it and started to read with her help. The story was about a little cat who found a hidden treasure in the garden. The words were very short and easy. After reading that book, I felt happy. I liked hearing the story. The pictures made me laugh. I think that day I started to love reading. I asked my mom to read the book again. Soon, I finished that book and wanted another one. My mother took me to a library where children can pick books. I remember the library had many colorful books with animals and adventures. I picked a story about a pirate who went to the sea. I sat on the floor and looked at the pictures. Even if I did not understand some words, I guessed their meaning from the pictures and the story. This was fun. When I started school, reading became part of my day. My teacher asked me to read a sentence in class, and I was nervous, but I did it. I read more every day. I liked story time in class, when the teacher read aloud. Later, in middle school, I had to read more difficult books for homework. It was sometimes hard. I remember one book about space and astronauts that I did not understand at first, but I took it home and read a little each evening. After a while, it became easier, and I learned many new words like planet. I felt proud when I could read that book by myself. When I grew older and started learning English seriously, reading played a big role again. At first, it was hard to read in English. I remember trying to read a very simple English story. I looked at each word with a dictionary. It was slow, but day by day, it got better. I would try to read a page of an English book or an article every night. I also listened to English audio while reading. In a few months, I could read short English stories without help. It made me feel sure of myself in English. Now I enjoy reading English stories and books whenever I can. It has become a habit. Today, reading is a big part of my life. I read a lot of different things. I read news on my phone every morning. I read recipes for cooking in the evening. I read articles about culture and travel. And, of course, I read books. I still love fiction and novels. Last year, I read a novel about a scientist in space, and I read a fun mystery on a train trip. I share books with my friends and talk about them. Sometimes I even read to my younger cousin at bedtime because I love to share stories. Reading has changed me in many ways. I feel that reading made my vocabulary bigger and my mind wider. I also feel happier when I read something that I like. I learned new ideas and have many stories in my head now. It is like I have visited many places and met many people just by reading. I hope that by hearing my story, you see that everyone can start loving reading. Maybe you will remember that small book I liked. Now I hope you will look for your favorite story. You might start with a picture book, a comic, or any simple story. If I can do it, you can do it too. I am sure you will feel proud and happy when you finish your first book. Each book you read can be a new page in your own life story. So this is the story of my reading. I am Benji and I love reading now. I can't wait to read more and to share more stories. And I believe you will find your own reading story soon too. Your reading journey will be unique, and I am sure it will be full of great adventures. How reading helps your English. If you are learning English, reading can help you a lot. Here are some ways that reading in English can make your language skills better. Learn new words and phrases. When you read English, you see many words. Even if you know a little, you will find new words. For example, if a book has the word island and you did not know it, you can guess from the story that it means a piece of land surrounded by water. Every time you see a new word and learn it, you add it to your mind. This makes your vocabulary bigger. Later, you can use these new words when you speak or write. Reading is one of the best ways to learn new words in context. See grammar and sentence patterns. In a book or article, words are in full sentences. This helps you see how English sentences work. You will learn grammar without even thinking too much about rules. For example, if you read sentences like, I am eating, or he went to school, you will see how English uses these words to talk about things happening now or things that happened before. You learn this by seeing it in text again and again. This is a natural way to learn grammar. It is like how babies learn to speak by hearing sentences. Improve your speaking and pronunciation. If you read out loud, you practice saying English words. Even reading quietly helps your brain remember how words sound. Some people listen to an audio recording of a book while reading along. This trains your ear to the way English sounds. You will find it easier to understand when people speak because you have seen the words written. Reading regularly can make you more confident when you speak English. Help with writing skills. The more you read, the better your writing will become. You learn phrases and ways of saying things. If you see a sentence like, "It was a sunny morning," you will know how to write similar sentences. Good writers often read a lot of books. When you write something in English, you can remember how authors wrote similar sentences and use that style. Reading also gives you ideas for writing, like new topics or ways to explain something. Learn about English culture. When you read books or articles in English, you learn about how people live, what they celebrate, and their ideas. For example, reading a story set at Christmas or Thanksgiving can teach you about those holidays. You begin to understand jokes and ways people think. This can make your English learning more interesting and fun. Build confidence. As you read and understand English, you will feel proud of yourself. Each time you finish a page or a story, you know you are learning something new. Gradually, you will be able to read longer and harder texts. You will start to guess the meaning of new words by using other words in the sentence. This confidence will help you try talking and writing more in English. You'll find yourself thinking, I can read this. Learn spelling. When you read, you see words spelled correctly many times. This helps you remember the correct spelling. When you write or type in English, you'll recall how the words looked. Improve your listening. If you listen to someone reading while you read, you train your ear to hear English words. This can make it easier to understand songs or stories when someone reads them aloud. Enjoy English more. Reading lets you enjoy the language. When you read an interesting story in English, you feel happy and excited. This makes you want to learn more English, listen to English songs, or watch shows. Reading can feed your love of English and other things. In my own experience, reading helped me learn English much faster. I remember the first time I read an entire English story by myself. At first, I needed a dictionary for many words. But one day, I realized I could read without checking every single word. That made me very happy. I began to read children's stories and news articles every day. Soon, I knew many more English words. It helped me speak to my friends and feel more confident in class. So, reading helps your English in many ways. It gives you new words, shows you how sentences work, and makes you feel better about your English. If you read a little bit every day in English, you will see your skills grow. Keep reading, and you will be surprised how good you become at English. Building a reading habit. Reading is like any new activity. To be good at it, you need a habit. Here are some ideas to help you build a habit of reading. Start small every day. You do not have to read a long book at once. Begin with just a few pages, or even one page each day. You can start by reading for 5 minutes. Reading a little every day is better than not reading at all. Even one page each day will add up. You will soon notice that you can read more without feeling tired. Set a regular time to read. Decide on a time of day that you will read, and try to read at the same time each day. For example, you can read after breakfast, or during your lunch break, or before you sleep at night. If you make reading part of your routine, like brushing your teeth, you will do it regularly without forgetting. For instance, I always read a story for 10 minutes before I go to bed. This helps me unwind and learn new things every night. Find a good place. Choose a quiet and comfortable spot to read. It could be a cozy corner of your room, under a tree in your yard, or a nice chair in a cafe. Make sure it's a place where you can relax and enjoy the words. You might want a good light so you can see clearly, and a drink or snack if you like. A comfortable place can make reading more enjoyable. Keep reading material handy. Always have something to read with you. Carry a small book in your bag or have a reading app on your phone. When you have to wait in line or when you're commuting, pull out your book and read a few paragraphs. Having easy access to reading material makes it easier to read often. Use a bookmark or app to track progress. A bookmark helps you remember where you left off. You can also write in a notebook which page or chapter you stopped. Some people use a calendar or a notebook to mark off each day they read. This shows how much you've done and can encourage you to keep going. Join a library or find a reading community. Go to your local library and get a library card. A library lets you borrow new books for free. Seeing others in a library can motivate you. You can also talk to friends or classmates about what books you're reading. Even though this is not a class, sharing your reading with someone can make it more fun and keep you going. Set reading goals. Give yourself a small challenge. For example, decide to finish one book by the end of the month. Or plan to read one story from a magazine each week. Goals can be fun when you reach them. Celebrate each goal you meet. You might reward yourself with a treat or a small break. Reward yourself. When you reach a goal, give yourself a small treat or break. For example, after finishing a book, you might watch a favorite show or eat your favorite snack. Celebrating achievements makes reading feel even more fun. Be patient and keep trying. Some days you might read a lot, and some days you might read nothing. That's okay. If you skip a day, just start again the next day. The important thing is not to give up. If reading feels hard, choose an easier book or try listening to the story. Remember, building a habit takes time. If you read a little bit every day, or almost every day, soon reading will feel like a normal part of your life. You will start to think of yourself as a reader, and that is a wonderful achievement. Now you know why reading is so important and how it can help you in many ways. We talked about the reasons we read, the benefits, how to start, what to read, and even a story from my life. I hope you found these ideas useful. Remember, reading is not a test or a chore. It is something you can enjoy at your own pace. You do not need to read a long book to start. Even short stories or articles can make a difference. Every page you read is a step forward. Each time you learn a new word, you become more confident in English. Each time you understand a story, your world becomes a little bigger. Keep your goals in mind. Do not get discouraged if you do not understand everything at first. It is normal to have to look up words or read the same sentence again. Be proud of the effort you make. Slow progress is better than no progress. Eventually, you will see how far you have come. When you feel slow or tired, remember how I felt when I was learning. Every reader starts small. Think of reading like planting a seed. At first, you may only see a small sprout, but as you read more, that seed will grow into something bigger. One day, you will be reading fast and happily, and it will feel natural. Until then, give yourself credit for every word you learn. Find joy in reading. Choose a topic that excites you and dive into it. If a book seems hard, try something else or take a break. You can switch between fun stories and useful articles. The more reading you do, the more you will find what you really like. And when you do find that favorite book or magazine, everything else will fall into place. Do not forget to be kind to yourself. Everyone makes mistakes or misses words sometimes. If you find a new word, see it as a gift of knowledge. Every word you learn makes reading easier next time. Celebrate your successes, no matter how small. Did you finish a page? Did you find the meaning of a sentence? Good job! Give yourself a little cheer. I hope you feel encouraged to pick up a book or read something in English today. I know it might not always feel easy, but keep going. You will thank yourself in the future. Think of each book as a friend or a gift for your mind. Each book you read can be a new page in your own life story. Your reading journey will be unique, and I am sure it will be full of great adventures. Thank you for spending this time with me and listening to my talk about reading. This is Benji, and I am so happy to have shared this episode with you. Happy reading, and I will see you next time.